You gotta love Star Wars. Space wizards, chicks in metal bikinis, planets that explode about once per movie, and with producers being as reliable as a gas station condom, you never really know what you're going to get. Like fortune cookies. If you know fortune cookies made $1 billion, you rarely see an average Star Wars project. They're mostly either spectacular or they suck ass. But Star Wars is larger than just wildly inconsistent movies and around 15 spin-off TV shows. You of course have Star Wars video games, and boy are they awesome. I am absolutely confident in saying that Star Wars video games are better than Star Wars movies. Of course you have some movies that are just jaw-dropping, but what I love most about Star Wars movies is that they set the universe for some of the best video games that there ever were. I can still remember playing Force Unleashed. Man, that game was just exquisite. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what makes Star Wars games as good as they are. Could be that there's no cringe dialogue. Could be. Is it the fact that every Star Wars game has a clear and thought out story, whereas the newer movies just throw a bunch of Disney crap together? Entirely possible. Or it may just be the fact that it is more fun to cut stormtroopers in half than it is to watch Anakin bitch about sand. And now that we have established that games are better than movies, let's get to the review of Jedi Survivor. I have played the first game in the series, Jedi Fallen Order, twice, as I thought it was an unbelievable hybrid between Uncharted and the Star Wars universe. It has its flaws, but I still believe it is amazing, but we already did the review of that game and you are welcome to go check it out. With the first game being what it was, my expectations for this game were very high, and the game fucking delivered. Jedi Survivor builds on what the first game gave us with a massive, beautiful world, crisp combat, and a story so exciting that you will ruin your pants. As in the first game, you play as a dashing young Jedi Cal Kestis. In the first game, he was an adolescent teenager who loved to play with his ponchos, but now he's a man with something that some might even call a beard. His fight for the freedom of the galaxy will take him to a few different planets, with the biggest one being Kobo. The sequel brings about new alliances, new characters, and an array of bad guys that were just a pleasure to cut up. If you thought that there were a lot of cosmetics in the first game, grab your ass and be ready to be blown away, cause hot damn! Lightsabers, haircuts, beards, pants, shirt, jackets, everything comes in different colors, size, shapes. The only thing that you can't change is the color of your hair, because I guess there is something about orange hair that screams, here comes Cal freaking Kestis. He's going to kill all of you, but he's allowed to do so because he's a Jedi. It's really his orange hair that strikes fear in the bones of every foe he faces. The combat is a little different than it was in the first game. There you had only like the single lightsaber and the double-sided lightsaber, but the combat here is based around stances. The way it works is that you can play single-bladed, double-bladed, two-handed, and even with a freaking gun, because nothing says America like a mullet, long beard, and a .45 caliber. Killing smaller enemies is so easy and so freaking fun, and when you upgrade all the force pushes and pulls and mind games, you really feel like a freaking powerhouse, which is good because, you know, you're a freaking Jedi. The world really captures the Star Wars vibe. Not really sure what I meant to say with that, but I said it nevertheless. As you progress through the story, you unlock new skills that allow you to explore new parts of the world and face more difficult enemies, and at some point you will also gain the ability to ride animals or whatever that great giraffe dinosaur is. As in the first game, you also get to do some puzzles. Whippy, I know you're all as excited as I am, because let's be honest, puzzles suck, but what can you do? Oh yeah, and of course you have BD1, what a great kid, absolute fucking unit. Yeah, you just gotta love him, he's so cute, and occasionally he does a few things that are not useless, and that's pretty much all he does. Of course, I'm just kidding, he helps you with your puzzles and occasionally he'll help you take down enemies, so yeah, big thumbs up, keep up the good work. They also added side quests that kind of don't feel like side quests, but more of a go kill that guy or go check out that cave, but the main story more than makes up for it. Plus, if you play the first game, you know that this game is kind of similar to Souls games with campfires, and when you die you spawn back at them and the enemies all reset, but luckily, or unluckily, depends on whether you like Souls games or not, this game is not nearly as difficult. As for the story, I really don't want to say too much because the story is pretty wild and something you really should experience without any spoilers. But sadly, like most games, it isn't entirely perfect, and my brother would absolutely kill me if I didn't say this, but there are a few glitches. The reason I mentioned my brother is because I didn't experience as many as him. I actually had a pretty bug-free gameplay, but he fell through the ground once, and I think at some point he actually locked himself in a room during some puzzle without being able to get out, which I imagine kinda sucks. And I also feel like I should mention that in order to run this game, you either need a next-gen console or a really good freaking PC. I don't know what the game is like on PS4, but I imagine that you're going to experience more than just falling through the ground once. On PS5, the game is absolutely playable, so you really have nothing to worry about, but yeah, maybe you will see an occasional bug. So yeah, you've been warned just in case, but other than that, I really enjoyed this game, and we're once again proved right that Star Wars games just hit different than movies. The world is stunning and the characters are captured beautifully. Even though the story is a nail-biter, I feel like the best part of the game is the combat, which is kind of important with Souls-like games, especially those where you get to kill stuff with a freaking lightsaber, so to call this game stunning and amazing is a pretty fair description. The bugs can be a bit of a bummer, especially if you're my brother. Sometimes puzzles feel kinda weird and exploring the world is really fun until you get stuck at some ledge that you can't grab. So I will give this game a 9 because everything about it is amazing, even though it can be a bit rough around the edges. I would absolutely recommend this game to anyone who either loves Star Wars or just likes a good story game. It definitely lives up to the first game, and if you like that one, I imagine you already bought this one too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video till the end, and you guys really are amazing. Please tell me your thoughts about the game, and hopefully you agree. Thanks again, and see you next time.